and welcome to the University of Trinidad and Tobago's presentation of graduates for 2020 and 2021. This inaugural event, the first at the university's flagship campus at Tamina, celebrates the achievements of our graduates who have worked hard through many obstacles, including the biggest challenge so far, this pandemic, to achieve their degrees. Let's begin the proceedings by joining in with the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Ms. Melissa Messiah, former president of the Executive UTT Student Guild, will now lead us in the invocation.
Good day, everyone. Can we please bow our heads for our prayer? O Supreme One, origin of all being, we thank you for giving us another day as we gather here to celebrate UTT's presentation of graduates ceremony. Give us a keen understanding of the importance of the role that graduates of UTT, the National University, have in the development of our communities and Trinidad and Tobago by extension. Give us faith, courage, and wisdom to fulfill our purpose and promise as students and graduates of UTT. Show us how to effectively serve you so that all of our education, knowledge, and skills may find true fulfillment as we learn to do your will. May we ever be aware in everything that we do that knowledge comes from learning and wisdom comes from you. Thank you, O Supreme One. Now, let us bow our heads in a moment of silence for those members of the UTT family who have passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Messiah. And now, the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Chancellor of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, Her Excellency Paula May Weeks, will declare the ceremony open for the conferment of certificates, diplomas, and degrees.
As Chancellor of the University, I declare the ceremony open for the conferment of certificates, diplomas, and degrees by the authority of the Academic Council and the Board of Governors.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I now invite the Chairman of the Board of Governors of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, Professor Clement Imbert, to address you with some words of welcome.
Good day. Although this is a virtual ceremony and we are not assembled in one place, I need to recognize the following persons: Her Excellency Paula May Weeks, ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Chancellor of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, UTT. Members of the Board of Governors of UTT, Professor Prakash Prasad, President of UTT, Senior Academic and Corporate Staff of UTT, members of the Student Guild and other students of UTT, graduates and graduates of 2020 and 2021. family members and friends of our graduates, members of the viewing public. Welcome to the University of Trinidad and Tobago's 2020 and 2021 virtual graduation ceremonies, the first ever for the university. As a most auspicious occasion on the university's calendar, graduation not only recognizes a very significant academic achievement of our students and graduates in their commitment to excellence, it also celebrates the triumphs we have faced amid the ongoing pandemic. We postponed last year's graduation ceremonies 2020, which normally would have taken place in November, in the hope that we could have had live, face-to-face events sometime in 2021. But as time went, this proved to be impossible. We cannot postpone anymore, so we have combined last year's and this year's ceremonies. You have made history in your own way by not only graduating from a prestigious institution within the world of academia, but also by doing so in unprecedented times, in an unprecedented way. While we continue to collectively grapple with this situation into which we were indiscriminately thrust, you have managed to persevere in the face of adversity, the kind which has not been witnessed for 100 years. UTT was literally forced to go online overnight, a transition we successfully managed with aplomb. And your adaptation and level of determination cannot go unnoticed, as this was no mean feat. The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us to be resilient in the presence of struggle. It is expected that this experience will assist in strengthening your capacity for championing continuous development in your community and by extension, our country, a customary feature of the UTT graduate. In spite of the impact of the pandemic, I have no doubt of the quality of the many opportunities to which you were exposed as a student at UTT. Learning under the watchful eyes of world-class faculty, embedded in each of you, the ability to think critically, a quality necessary to spearhead the much-needed transformational change in our society. I encourage you to ensure this skill does not wither, but to allow it to manifest into a continued drive for success. Now in our 18th year, UTT has strived from inception to fulfill its mandate of contributing to the growth and entrepreneurial spirit in Trinidad and Tobago. Through its particular approach to pedagogy across all disciplines, UTT has played a role in revolutionizing not only the way its students learn, but also the way in which this knowledge is then applied in the real world. Despite the pandemic, UTT has graduated about 1,700 students each year in 2020 and 2021, giving a total of well over 22,000 students since our inception. Our students, staff, and the university have continued to attain great heights. They have excelled over the years, and the last 2 years have been no exception. A few examples from 2020 and 2021 would suffice. Both UTT Patriots men and women football teams qualified to represent Trinidad and Tobago at the International University Sports Federation playoffs in Mexico in 2022. UTT's student team won the first iGov hackathon, and Pradesh Budu Singh, BSc Utilities, won the UK Institution of Engineering and Technology International Student Prize in 2020. And Vanessa Bhagwat, a diploma student no less, made it the second time in a row in 2021. A diploma student winning a prize open to undergraduate students internationally. That is a most remarkable feat. These achievements say a lot about our students and the UTT programs. On staff, Dr. Miguel Jagasa was awarded a U.S. patent for his invention of the therapeutic exercise contour support. Drs. Umesh Prasad and Jorel Bisnath are collaborating with other parties to create the roll-up digital steel pad, a portable and easily stored instrument for practice. Imran Jan, Senior Sports Officer, was appointed head coach of the CPL Knight Riders, and Dr. Marcus Ramdawa was awarded a research grant from the U.S. Animal and Plant Health Inspection Services for his project Safeguarding Caribbean Food Security from the Threat of the Giant African Snail. Not to leave out our Board of Governors, Professor Hollis Liverpool, the mighty Chalkdust, was bestowed the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the country's highest award. A UTT team implemented the Proficiency Diagnostic Assessment, the PDA, an assessment tool for CSEC students to determine and improve proficiency in English and math. UTT Outreach, in collaboration with Atlantic LNG, garnered Best Social Investment Project for Corporate Social Responsibility in the Energy Industry. UTT has signed several MOUs with public and private partners locally and internationally, including our own University of the West Indies in St. Augustine. In particular, UTT has been collaborating with UWI over the past 2 years in the area of carbon capture and storage and CO2-enhanced oil recovery. The Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries has granted UTT and UWI almost $1 million TT each to develop a storage atlas for heritage fields, and BPTT has committed to provide UTT and UWI with $50,000 each for a storage atlas for selected fields in the Columbus Basin. UTT is also partnering with the NGC Group in projects in climate change mitigation and with NewGen Energy for research in the production of green hydrogen. UTT got a grant of about $6 million TT from the IDB for training and capacity building for the UTT Animation Hub. UTT is always looking to offer new programs in areas of national and regional importance. For example, UTT's MSc in Energy Engineering with a specialization in renewable energy was introduced in January 2021 and attracted about 50 students. A regional online master's in public health is in the pipeline for launch and will be coupled with the existing master's in health administration as a dual degree program. And UTT has played its part in the COVID-19 pandemic. A diploma in respiratory therapy started in September 2021 with 20 students. And Dr. Nicole Ramlachan, a geneticist on UTT staff, has been a key figure in public dissemination of information on COVID-19 and related issues. The university is proud to have graduates who contribute in the national context. However, they possess skills garnered from an internationally recognized education. I urge you as graduates to engender a proclivity for not only personal growth, but an affinity for national pride, as this is currently needed more than ever. This attribute has emerged as a priority as traditional work transforms due to technological advances and, of course, the current pandemic, from which we have learned so much. With a deceleration in world trade, there is an even more profound need for self-sustainability, an ideology long supported by the National University, the University of Trinidad and Tobago. In this regard, we encourage you to be our inventors, our agro-processors, our designers, our farmers, etc., to be the ones who rise to new challenges in the pursuit of being self-reliant. In closing, I join with the Chancellor, members of the Board of Governors, the wider university community, your families, friends, and well-wishers in extending heartfelt congratulations to the graduation classes of 2020 and 2021. May you use your moment in time to acknowledge this momentous occasion, to appreciate all those who have helped you on this journey, and continue onward on your journey to excellence. God bless you and thank you.
The University of Trinidad and Tobago not only recognizes the success of its students, but also honors national luminaries in their respective fields. So it is fitting that at this time, we acknowledge the university's 2020 honorees.
Mr. Edward Hart, Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. Mr. Lincoln Phillips, Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. Mr. John Sejagat, Honorary Doctor of Sciences. Mr. L. Anthony Watkins, Honorary Doctor of Laws.
I now invite Dr. L. Anthony Watkins to deliver his remarks.
Your Excellency, Ms. Paula May Weeks, ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Chancellor of UTT, Professor Prakash Prasad, President, UTT, Senior Academic and Corporate Staff of UTT, members of the Student Guild and other students of UTT, graduates of 2020 and 2021, family members and friends, members of the media, members of the viewing public, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a grand day, and I am certain that you feel a justifiable sense of pride and accomplishment. And I congratulate you for your efforts, commitment, dedication, and achievements. A sense of unease, dissatisfaction, and unmet needs can be powerful triggers for action. Somewhere in your past, you felt a need to learn, to achieve, to be accredited with an academic qualification. Today, that need has been satisfied. You have achieved and arrived at your mountaintop. Bear in mind, though, that a satisfied need is not a motivator of behavior. So where do you go from here? What is your next unfulfilled desire? Your next unmet need? The next thing that will spur you onto action? I recall with fondness and a persistent sense of delight an encounter that I had with my social psychology professor, John Arrowwood, at the University of Toronto in 1969. As a second-year student, things happened, and I had not been to classes for a couple of weeks. And I happened to bump into Professor Arrowwood one day, and he said to me, "Well, Watkins, I haven't seen you at class for a couple of weeks." I stammered, stuttered, and said to him, "Well, Prof, I have a couple assignments, some research papers that I was doing, and I was really sort of in the library working at that." And he smiled at me and said, Watkins, maybe you're right. One ought not to let one's classes get in the way of one's education." I was stunned. And 52 years later, I still remember that. I have never forgotten it. How will you envision and approach your education? Past cannot know past. Future cannot create future. What you have, what each one of us has, is a now in which to reflect, to decide, and to act. How you climb a mountain is more important than reaching the top. Robert Pirsig, in his groundbreaking novel Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, shares the following. Mountains should be climbed with as little effort as possible and without desire. The reality of your own nature should determine the speed. If you become restless, speed up. If you become winded, slow down. You climb the mountain in an equilibrium between restlessness and exhaustion. When you are no longer thinking ahead, each footstep is not just a means to an end, but a unique event in itself. This leaf has jagged edges. This rock looks loose. These are the things that we should notice anyway. To live only for some future goal is shallow. It is the sides of the mountain which sustain life, not the top. Here is where things grow. But of course, without the top, you cannot have any sides. It is the top that defines the sides. This is a cautionary note, well worth considering. Might it be that we are so consumed by the desire to climb the mountain, to get to the top, that we miss the meaningful experiences and learnings along the way? When you are no longer thinking ahead, each footstep is not just a means to an end, but a unique event in itself. We are called to be in a place of dynamic equilibrium, to blend our focus on multiple things, to negotiate contrasting demands. It is part of the duality and plurality and uncertainty of nature, that paradox of creation. How do we experience this duality, this paradox of nature? Today is the end of your life as you used to know it. But today is the beginning of your life as it will be. Today is the end of your past. But today is the beginning of your future. As you live and learn, as you seek to satisfy your unmet needs, your unsatisfied desires, as you dream of the mountaintop, be ever conscious of the sides of the mountain. In all of this, who you are matters. How you live and learn matters. Pirsig reminds us, the reality of your own nature should determine the speed. If you become restless, speed up. If you become winded, slow down. You climb the mountain in an equilibrium between restlessness and exhaustion. Nature confronts us with the dynamic cycles and seasons of life, inviting us to dance to its diverse rhythms. The variations and contrasts are as perplexing as they are real. Water, life-generating, gentle, smooth, soothing, cleansing, thirst-quenching, yet rough, turbulent, treacherous, and life-taking. The wind, the very air that we breathe, gentle, refreshing, calming, and cooling, yet wicked, wild, and destructive. Both of them, in their duality, in their plurality, eroding relentlessly, but building quietly and steadily, in their seasons, in their varying rhythms. I return to a question that I posed earlier. Given that we ought not to let our classes get in the way of our education, how will you envision and approach your education? Allow me to suggest. Take the time to discover your nature. Find your rhythm. Appreciate your cycles. Welcome your seasons. Celebrate your mountaintops. They provide new perspectives, but they are not the end game. See and seek value in your down in the valley experiences. Valleys are not places from which you should seek to escape quickly. In valleys, refreshing streams of water flow. In valleys, there's protection and shelter. In valleys, there are opportunities to reflect and recharge. And most of all, valleys provide us with a view of the mountaintop, the desire, the aspiration, the possibility. So as you head to the top of your next mountain, bear in mind that how you climb a mountain is more important than reaching the top. It is the sides of the mountain which sustain life, not the top. Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, wrote the following: success cannot be pursued, it must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. The mountaintop is about you, but that is not all. The cause is about others and the society. Rest in your valleys. Take the time to experience the size of the mountain as you climb to the top, and in so doing, discover that cause that is greater than yourself. Thank you all.
We will now pay homage to the 2021 honorees.
Mr. Ferdinand Ferreira, Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. Mr. Dominic Kalipasad, Honorary Doctor of Letters. Mr. Jones P. Madeira, Honorary Doctor of Letters. Mr. Wendell Motley, Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters.
I now invite Dr. Ferdinand Ferreira to deliver his remarks.
Her Excellency, Mrs. Paula May Weeks, ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Chancellor of the UTT. Professor Prakash Prasad, President UTT. Senior academic and corporate staff of UTT. Members of the Students' Guild and other students of UTT. Graduates of 2020 and 2021. Family members and friends, members of the media, members of the viewing public, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the UTT for bestowing this prestigious honorary degree on me. Nothing can be more rewarding than the recognition of your service, whatever form it may take, to your fellow men and by extension your country. There cannot and never will be a substitute for the good citizen. Patriotism to one's country is not and should not be a negotiable item. In the words of Nelson Mandela, quote, "The ideals I cherish, our fondest dreams and fervent hopes, may not be realized in our lifetime, but that besides the point. The knowledge that in your day you did your duty and lived up to the expectations of your fellow men is in itself a rewarding experience and a magnificent achievement. What is even more gratifying to me is the fact that the university, even at my advanced age of 89 plus, did not wait to send the honor by the worms. I wish to congratulate my fellow honorees from both the regional and local universities. They too, like myself, have been honorably rewarded for their patriotism and their contribution to their fellow men and the nation. Most of them have already publicly expressed their thanks and appreciation and offered their advice to the graduates, the beneficiaries of this massive investment of taxpayers in their future and by extension that of our nation. I merely wish to remind you, today's graduates, of the words of wisdom from the father of the nation at that pre-independence rally. Quote, Dr. Eric Williams, "To your tender and loving hands, the future of the nation is entrusted. In your innocent hearts, the pride of the nation is enshrined. On your scholastic development, the salvation of the nation is dependent." This was almost 60 years ago, just as valid today as it was yesterday. Our country during this period has had 7 prime ministers, 3 of them coming out of our regional universities. Mr. Patrick Manning, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bissessar, and Dr. Keith Rowley. The other 3, Dr. Eric Williams, Oxford University, Mr. A.N.R. Robinson, Oxford University, and Mr. Basley Opande, an English-trained attorney. We have been very fortunate so far, in spite of whatever negative encounters that might have overtaken us, to elect leaders, whatever their shortcomings, that have not taken us down the calamitous road that has overtaken so many other countries that obtained their independence after the Second World War. We were very fortunate to have a caliber of public servants, professionals, and otherwise man our institutions during the most critical period of nation building, the transitional period from colonialism to independence, most of them products of the colonial system. It is against this background that the young and not so young graduates must assess and evaluate their future role in the society. That again, in the words of the Father of the Nation, on your scholastic development, the salvation of the nation is dependent. Will you betray this trust and confidence that the nation has invested in you? You have been given excellent advice by past and present honorees, like myself, on your mission to success. You have been warned, a degree is not an automatic passport for a job, but rather a door to that largely unraveled world of knowledge. You have been informed and advised of the resourcefulness and perseverance of the great innovators and inventors of modern industrialization, their magnificent discoveries and achievements in science and technology, from Orville Wright and Henry Ford to Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg. You have been advised by honorees from both the regional and local universities of the absolute necessity for your abiding commitment. Whatever discipline of your choice, your prime responsibility is service to your fellow men and patriotism to your country. What new can an honorary, a graduate from Oxford University, now being transformed from doctor to honorary doctor? What can I tell you? As you proceed on your separate missions, to play your part in a world in which almost everything is moving towards the fourth and fifth revolution, a world in which mankind is so obsessed with wealth and materialism, they have almost forgotten who was responsible for the enormous, unprecedented success, the freedoms, the liberties, prosperities we enjoy today. The great liberators have now been sacrificed on the altar of vulgar accumulative wealth, materialism, science, and technology. The ones who took us out of bondage, slavery, and indentureship, who over the last 3 or 4 decades brought over 1 billion people out of poverty and squalor into a standard of living that we never thought was possible. From the Reformation and the Renaissance, right up to the current leaders of the Asian tiger, Africa, and the Latin American liberators. Just remember these revolutionaries, even the tyrants and dictators. It was the vision and mission of these visionaries, politicians, statesmen, and freedom fighters. Whatever their political philosophy, it is to them more than anyone else that we owe that eternal debt of gratitude. That should be the guiding factor, the compass that directs us along life's unpredictable journey, never forgetting that in spite of man's inhumanity to man, man is still man's best friend. And this brings me to the current role of our universities, both regional and local. As I respectfully ask, are they filling the role in spite of their current ratings, of producing and delivering the quality of political and public leadership? The standards of morality, integrity, and productivity required by us. As a small nation, very resourceful nation, to meet the demanding standards of our competitors, to earn the respect and admiration of a ruthless, competitive, unforgiving world that do not suffer fools gladly. Are we satisfied with the standards of behavior, integrity, and productive capacity of our leaders and our public servants, who comprise generally graduates from our regional and local institutes of higher learning? Recent comments coming from Archbishop Jason Gordon reap bribery and corruption at almost every level of society must be a source of concern to our universities, to our young graduates, who again, the salvation of the nation depends. Singapore's progress, its verve, its vitality is assured because the administrative machine works. There is no grit. You don't have to grease somebody's to crank up the machine. We must keep it that way. This is today's challenge of all our institutions of higher learning, inclusive of the UTT. If in fact something is wrong, it is your responsibility to get it right. As I proceed to my final destiny, where my voice will be forever silent, and my pen shall no longer be my sword of expression. As the Honorary Dean of Oxford, all I can ask you, my fellow citizens, in the words of the mighty Stalin, quote, stand up for something or you will die for nothing. Yours is the responsibility today, as was mine yesterday, to follow in the philosophical words of Nelson Mandela. Follow the ideals you choose. Your fondest dreams and fervent hopes may not be realized in your lifetime, but the knowledge that in your day you did your duty and lived up to the expectations of your fellow men is a rewarding experience and a magnificent achievement. In conclusion, I've given 70 odd years of my life in the service of my country, expecting neither award or reward. I'm, however, sincerely gratified by your overwhelming generosity in converting a doctor into an honorary Doctor of Letters. Thank you, and may God continue to bestow his bountiful blessings on the university and all those responsible for ensuring the success of all our learning institutions. After all, like Eton and Harrow, Oxford and Cambridge, that produced and delivered the leaders of the most powerful empire in the history of the world, your responsibility is not to build empire leaders, but to mold the character, the morality and integrity of our next generation of leaders, so that in the words of the scripture, posterity will echo with pride and joy, how great thou art. Thank you very much.
We now present the graduands receiving certificates, diplomas, and degrees.
Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from these academic programs haven't fulfilled the requirements of the university to the certificate, diploma, and undergraduate degrees for which they are presented.
Graduates of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, by the authority vested in me, I admit you to the certificate, diploma, undergraduate degrees for which you are to be presented and receive you as members of our society.
Class of 2020 National Engineering Technician Diploma in Instrumentation Engineering. Kyle Evan Ali, Jaziel Paul Gumai, Shania Sharice Kardaru, Essa Omar Mohammed, Riaz Mohammed, Brad Nandu, Mikla Poleman, Kaiser Nicholas Sipasad, Shane Handel Sylvester, Jeheji Joel Tobias. Class of 2021 National Engineering Technician Diploma in Instrumentation Engineering. Mikhail Lincoln Ackers, Valentina Chandela Gordon, Aliyah Dana Joseph, Sandanand Lochan, Akash Simeon Narasama, Miguel Norang, Vishal Rangasamy, Darian Paul Sinan, Satish Suku. Class of 2020 Bachelors of Applied Science in Utilities Engineering, Electrical Option. Deleja J. Allard, Sally Arjun, Roger Paul Charles, Marlon Gerald Farmer, Randall Mark Golbans, Malika Hippolyte, Wendy Jorkin, Vishala Maraj, Nigel Michael MacLeod, Anil Andre Mohammed, Asif Mohammed, Jonathan Ahmed Mohammed, Gabrielle Pandey, Rebecca Paulson, Nicholas Nigel Perry, Hananiah Sarah Phillip, Darian Rampol, Darvin Sandy, Michael Seeley, Dudna Singh, Jonathan Timothy Thomas, Wenzel Toby, Class of 2021, Bachelor of Applied Science in Utilities Engineering, Electrical Option. Kwame Raymond Abel, Kislon Aberdeen, Emmanuel Alexander, Suin Bejun, Arvid Batiste, Andrew Charles, Cody Cooper, David Dipchan, Rylan Emmanuel, Shane Fletcher, Renard Harilal, Akeem Henry, Cameron Jack, VJ Kusial, Kaver Manguru, Ezron Marcel, Saida Mohammed, Shamina Mohammed, Elan Murray Mendez, Michael Pigas, Kieran Phillip, Quinn Radix, Kevin Ramjatan, Nigel Rampersad, Regan Samlal, Anu Sue Chedi, Shiva Suklal, Kebwe Trim. Class of 2020, Bachelors of Applied Science in Utilities Engineering, Mechanical Option. Shaniza Bash, Ansel Benny, Chelsea Bowler, Kyle Bisasa Singh, Anisha Budu, Pradesh Budu Singh, Ada Charles, Varun Dani Maraj, Ricardo Das, Jason Gadhari, Tariq Jadal Jiro, Amar Jagasa, Isaiah Rashad James, Jason Marvin James, Grandison Jeffrey, Abdullah Khan, Samantha Khan, Shazar Muhammad Ali, Rodney Mangal Singh, Siobhan Jamal Murphy, Murchison Ricardo Perryman, Sasha Ramkalawan, Kamon Ramlogan, Richard Sridas, Charles Williams Jr., Class of 2021, Bachelors of Applied Science in Utilities Engineering, Mechanical option. Nikolai Nicholas Ali, Mary Babulal, Nawaz Bash, Rajiv Balchan, Celine Karishma Bihari, Antonio Marcus Birbal, Micah Jerome Borneo, Keontae Charles, Reese Victor Chin, Xavier Chung, Damian George, Shaquille Christian Henry, Mark Chris Hossain, Shiraz Ashmeed Hossain, Purnima Shivana Jagannath, Brandon Brian Lima, Kurt Kenson McLeod, Daniel McSween, Ronnie Raj Mehalal, Kashif Brian Nurse, Tiffany Naomi Pamponet, Aaron Steele Vicar Passad, Darren Darnell Phillip, Hugh Tyrone Pickering, Lindley Pilgrim, David Ramon, Dylan Ramlogan, Tashawn Jacoby Skinner, Anthon Michael Smith, Rehan Sudama, Kwame Hayden White, Kern Christopher Wright, Aaron Yearwood, Class of 2020, Certificate in Early Childhood Care and Education, Alice Bagan, Jamie Olivia Baldio, Maureen Bagwansing, Anushka Bagwat, Tamara Hannah Chance, Savitri Charan, Christine Kadisha Charles, Antoinette Michelle Clark, Sarah Diolal, Tanvir Danpol, Maria Amanda Francet, Tisha Fulchan, Clarenca Gardina, Allison George Bishop, Jeanette Asibi Gill, Uma Bena Gosain, Chevonia Maria Guevara Bernard, Nalisha Hetula, Rohini Hari, Crystal Elizabeth Henry, Crystal Hercules, Colette Cooper Julian, Tarian Khan, Melinda Makul, Alicia Mitchell, Samantha Sarah Mohammed, Shamila Prasad, Keisha Elizabeth Peters, Janice Andrea Peters Cambridge, Jaffasia Alessandra Piper, Nadia Ragubar, Alexi Nikita Rahim, Anissa Natasha Rampasad Samaru, Liliana Renata Rubchan, Petra Shavani Sipasad, Anicia Precious Sarjan, Risa Milani Sutim George, Nefetari Teresa Spencer, Kania Candice Vincent. Class of 2021 Certificate in Early Childhood Care and Education. Angel Afia Alexander, Kariana Amber Bahadur, Onika Akila Batiste, Rashana Karishma Barath, Denise Bob Chance, Annalie Jafia Brown, LaShoy Zara Bruce, Akila Charles, Karina Nalini Chatar, Kirlian Catherine Cooper, Melina Kamabach, Shakira Doon, Duana Akisha Ford, Selena Gangapasad, Vanessa Hamilton, Gayatri Haripasad, Jalicia Dion Hiralal, Candice Hodge Bramble, Rashida Felicity Jagun Singh, Diana Jitram, Kimberly John Laban, Aliyah Johnson, Isha Kanhai, Shonik Elizabeth Cooley, Tajan Ina Lewis, Angela Sarah Madhu, Rashana Mana, Chantiel Mark, Onika Mitchell, Analia Alima Mohammed, Malaika Aliyah Mohammed, Tia Denisha Mangal, Aurelia Kristen Oliver, Natissa Dea Rambaran, Praveen Ramdeo, Amrita Ramkumar, Sita Ramnath Puran, Nalini Rampasad, Karina Natasha Retu, Danica Cherise Richards, Tamika Roberts Walker, Suwian Eden Shaw, Sarika Singh, Maya Thului, Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Agricultural Science, Denissa Priscilla Budram. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Agricultural Science, Ishana Fazia Ali, Denicia Sharissa Antwine, Dylan Bachan, Niran Bagwandin, Lois Terry Claire Diaz, Crystal Esther Ethany Sandy, Brittany Rayan Farley, Gregorian Shanika Josling, Fadia Alina Khan, Ariana Sarah Marie Moore, Crystal Veronica Pierre, Diana Doshini Ramdial, Stacy Ravello, Hazelan Karina Roseman, Kevon Saw. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Business Education, Rhonda Alicia Balfour, Candice Christine Boudou, Babita Budram, Rashida Charles, Jewel Clark, Savitri Diolal, Raisha Dana Danasar, Rebecca Gura, Karina Stephanie Kennedy, Kimberly Kisto, Amanda Alicia Lane, Letitia Colette Lewis, Chantal Anna Nandal, Kristen Petal Pariag, Giselle Carissa Ramdial, Sarita Sinanan, Sonia Marie Candice Goa. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Business Education, Rian Jessica Archie, Evendor Luis Babois, Surika Bisu, Raquel Antonia Diaz, Janelle Lavone Gilberg, Chania Hutchinson, Vashti Jaisumer, Deandra Maraj, Justin Leo Paris, Crystal Ramcharan, Shiana Ariana Ramsarup, Khadija Fayola Ramsey, Ria Kavita Sipasad,
Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in early childhood care and education. Ravina Amanda Davy. Monique Vanessa Kernahan. Samantha Prasad. Francesca Saran. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in early childhood care and education. Lorraine Gillian Elder. Kelly Ann Guy. Afisha G. Joseph. Angel Delicia Khan. Celine Gabriella Nicholson. Alicia Mary Provoto. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in early childhood care and primary education. Wendy Arlene Busigad. Nicole Ganpat Madhu. Sharida Karima Hussein Isu. Sharon Mohammed. Kavita Dana Narain. Lisa Prasad. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in early childhood care and primary education. Simonis Calistra Maya. Vashti Daniela Padarat. Natalia Thandia Philip. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in food and nutrition and family management. Anusha Budu Singh. Amanda Chantal Chase. Chanel DeGale. Rowan Merilda Joseph. Nadia Kelly. Ramona Bima Manik. Lakshmi D. Mongal. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in integrated science. Lisha Mira Ramdayal. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in natural science. Munifa Lynn Gilead. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in language and literature. Tisha Precious Alexander. Rondell Mika Balchan. Chris Ravi Balkaran. Shurel Rebecca Balosing. Gabriel Antonio Cayenne. Angel Cheyenne Danclay. Alexia Chantal Gadsby. Kanisha Shanice Guerra. Abini Lukman. Abida Aisha Mohammed. Shanice Ramparose. Angel Risa Ramdhani. Ryan Suresh Samaru. Darlene Sinanan. Ronalda Wong. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Language and Literature. Carissa Indra Babua. Shazara Sajida Baksh. Jamie Shalini Jadunanan. Yashoda Theresa Ule. Crystal Sirnarain. Rebecca Nadine Thomas. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Mathematics. Nikisha Vicuel Arthur. Kimberly Abigail Budhu. Makelia Celestine. Nataki Sanchel Clark. Karishma Nirvana Devprasad. Reveli Felicia Glasgow. Shanili Gopal. Nasima Safia Khan. Alyssa Nicole Mahadev. Devki Devi Mangro. Sasha Alicia Mohammed. Zaleha Sarah Mohammed. Leah Angeline Maula. Sinead Chantel Otley. Ruth Rebecca Rahim. Manisha Kamala Sicharan. Shanil Kisha Sendal. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Mathematics. Lauren Askaran. Sanel Beatrice Chot. Phoebe Davina Jagdeo. Karen Luke Lachman. Kalisha Kelis Madhu. Matthew Stefan Mahadev. Cassidy Mia Matadine. Karima Stacy Mohammed. Renel Kaniz Mohammed. Rinaldo Farid Mohammed. Haley Nanlal. Densil Noyan. Ariana Nelia Prasad. Stefan Avinash Raj. Anjali Ramdev. Rebecca Christie Rampasad. Shama S. Sanchez. Michaela Diana Sicharan. Roshni Sukhdev. Eleanor Stephanie Wilson. Chelsea Rayan Worrell. Renee Simoy Yiloy. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Physical Education. Nicholas Keanu Braffett. Celine Cindy Calderon. Chris Daniel Clement. Rihanna Chantel Farrow. Zaditu Dimples Grant. Kareem Eustace Hamilton. Marcus Mika Jaglal. Kai Jared James. Shaliza Diana James. Trudy Jalisa Lewis, Ashlyn Malaika Mohammed, Jabari Nathan Philip, Alan Ramdas, Asima Shanice Ramlogan, Denzel Ricardo Ramphal, Shane Samaru, Naomi Afia Smith, Patrice Keela Smith, Joshua Gerard Wong. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in physical education. Jaron S. Andrews, Rinaldo Akeem Atwell, Mark Anthony Bisnat, Chantel Alina Charles, Vanessa Clark, Michaela Ashley Jordan, Akeem Jamal Joan, Rinal Lalchan, Shalicia Maria Mars, Jariel Ann McCollin, Dylan Ramcharan, Joshua Ricardo Ransom, Ariana Kajol Sudin, Patrice Vincent, Abede Carlon Wilson. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in social studies. Colleen Karina Emmanuel, Indrani Khan, Anita Raka Bharat. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in social studies, sociology. Alia Kai Alexis, Jillian J. Bishop, Giselle Alia Gilbert, Nisha Kisoon Maharaj, Cassidy Dayan Mohammed, Racine Makila Paponet, Miranda Deborah Partap, Rebecca Chelsea Samlal, Denil Corrine Webster, Tonya Kifana Wheeler, Shanice Adana Williams. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in social studies, sociology. Shania Shanice Alexander, Makiba Alicia Burnett, Shanice Shirel Keto, Shane Nigel Das, Vinda Michael Duki, Christina Joyanne Hicks, Geneva Hussein, Shivani Jaiprasad, Blessing Anika Mitchell, Ayoluwa Primus, Kavita Ramdas, Sharon Shelley Ramlal, Sarah Kimberly Rampasad, Hussein Ranga, Levi Kyle Seni. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Social Studies, Geography. Nikis Shirel Bonio. Randolph Delmizo Findlay. Arvin Narendra Jagesa. Leona Early John. Celine Amanda Lizama. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Social Studies, Geography. Nikita Lily Askarali. Jessica Gopal. Priya Jagru. Alim Zachary Kalu. Giovanni Delvin Lalsi. Samantha Perdesi. Saiva Savisha Prasad. Jaira Makias Samaru. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Social Studies, History. Dana Ramsaran. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Special Needs and Primary Education. Chantal Santana Alexis. Kashim Kamil Ali. Arifa Susanna Ali Sinanan. Samantha Judith Alves. Deborah Tamar Atkinson. Ian Bethel. Sue Anna Bola Ali. Felicia Valerie Bonio. Nikisha Sasha Clark Superville. Chrissy Zenith Forbes. Janelle Giselle Forrester Warner. Kelleen Stacey-Ann Grant Samuel. Kayla Henry. Chitra Shivani Jagannath. Kadisha S. Joan. Annette Jones Francis. Makita Joseph. Alicia Isadora King Brown. Shaveen Lakan Mansingh. Natifa Cherise Lennon. Kudeen Crystal Lewis. Tevian Ray Lewis. Candice Rhonda Luby Nangu. Nalini Mahabir Ramsaran. Crystal Maniram. Jinnah Alicia Mansuk. Regina Solange Medford. Tikia Daria Moore. Shanice Candice Morales. Rihanna Rohini Narain. Dorothy Niels. Crystal Diane Alton. Liselle Camille Philip George. Triciana Shalice Prudhomme. Sharana Melissa Ragbir. Trishana Ragunanan. Shivanan Shastri Rajkumar. Shastri Darrell Ramdeen. Rebecca Leah Ramnarain. Josan Chantal Rampasad Patrick. Rihanna Samlal, Anastasia Vijaya Singh, Miranda Singh, Adriana Anuradha Surju, Kesari Suku, Crystal Subero, Juliet Eleonora Tid Francis, Kishel Rebecca Turner, Shivani Indrani Visham. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in special needs and primary education. Rachel Abraham, Chelsea L. Alexander, Karen Alexander, D. Joy Nadine Bujan, Kadisha Alicia Caesar, Natricia Nicole Keynes, Bernicia Sparkle Canavron, Dominique Shani Carty, Cicely Ann Bridget Dunnett, Maya Liana David, Latoya Flavian de la Rosa Batiste, Janini Demika Devines, Elena Dugar, Akila Khalifa Edwards, Joy Renee Edwards, Vanessa Ganga Prasad, Cindy Hariprasad, Mindy Hariprasad, Shivana Jogmohan, Carol Sherry Karamat, Jamila Khan, Ria Denise Khan, Sarah Khan, Sadia Siddiqa Khan, Malin Lakan, Chrissy Jenly Limo Aline, Candice Rhonda Luby Nangu, Asiha Nika Lopez, Riti Maharaj, Anisa Malay Das, Chantal Bobby Matadine, Melissa Lima Messiah, Alia Mohammed, Caroline Mohammed, Kamla Mohammed, Zahira Mohammed, Kanda Angel Noel, Ciara Chantel Patrick, Patrian Keisha Kenny Waterman, Jesse Naitram Pulwati, Seema Raghunanan, Rihanna Rambaran, Christina Angel Ramdat, Shantali Angel Ramota, Karima Rolana Ranga, Ayana Kumba Robertson, Amelia Sabrina Rupnarain, Adriana Giselle Samaru, Charlene Sampat Singh, Talia Liana Singh, Alyssa Samantha Solomon Stewart, Kesari Suku, Nicolette Cla Stanislaus, Aruna Suban, Lisa Paula Thomas, Terry Ann Thornhill, Daniela D. Trotman. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, construction engineering. Joshua A. Batiste, Shona K. Elette Bryan. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, construction engineering. Kevin Tafe Bain. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, electrical and electronics. Michelle Denise Bronte Tinku. Kevin Jagdish Rampasad. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, fashion. Mifon Drea Collins. Alyssa Robota Peters McCletchy. Stacy Sonia Perdome Morgan. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, mechanical. Sheldon Christopher Wise. Class of 2021, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, mechanical. Rosemary Savita Chinpaya. Adriel Carl Cruikshank. Class of 2020, Bachelor of Education with specialization in vocational and technical education, technical drawing. Edmund Archibald.
As we continue, I'm pleased to introduce the next segment. It's a performance by students of the Academy for the Performing Arts. The Pen Ensemble Fusion will present to you High Mass by David Rudder. As part of the university experience, students participate in various activities for self-development, expanding their knowledge or supporting university events. Upon graduating, students can voluntarily contribute to the university's network to promote interaction, encourage education, research, and commercialization of innovative ideas, and also to mentor undergraduate students through co-op training or similar work-related experiences. So now I invite all our graduates to join in the reciting of the Alumni Pledge.
As alumni of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, we solemnly swear to uphold the honorable traditions of our university. Imbued by the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship, which are at the center of UTT's mission, we will endeavor to lend creativity and passion to all that we undertake. As graduates of the National University, we also commit ourselves to the highest standards of service to our community and country. We will further strive to earn our own place among UTT's alumni who, by their devotion to these ideals, have brought recognition and honor to our alma mater. We will provide moral, intellectual, and financial support and will encourage others to attend our alma mater and thus contribute to the perpetuation of the necessary and noble work of UTT.
We encourage all our students to join UTT's Alumni Association by going to the website www.u.tt/alumni. The ceremony is almost at an end, but before we bid you adieu, I call upon Ms. Danielle Webster, Bachelor of Education with specialization in Social Studies and Sociology, to deliver the Valedictory Address.
Her Excellency Paula May Weeks, ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Chancellor of UTT. Professor Clement A.C. Imbert, Chairman, UTT Board of Governors and other members of the Board of Governors, UTT. Professor Prakash Prasad, Acting President, UTT, Senior Academic and Corporate Staff of UTT, members of the Student Guild and other students of UTT, graduates of 2020, family members and friends, members of the media, members of the viewing public, ladies and gentlemen, good day to you. James Allen stated, "No duty is more urgent than giving thanks." Therefore, I am honored, yet humbled, to be blessed with the opportunity as valedictorian of this esteemed university, the University of Trinidad and Tobago. It would be amiss and vile of me to credit myself with such an astounding accomplishment. Therefore, I take this opportunity to do as the Apostle Paul has reprimanded us to, give honor where honor is due. As such, I give all glory and honor unto God, who has been my rock and fortress throughout this journey. I then say thanks to the bearers of knowledge, our illustrious lecturers, who so willingly allowed us to sip from their cups of wisdom and have charted us on the path of global graduates, set and ready to take on the world. Other staff of UTT who provided administrative support and auxiliary functions, to you we say thanks. Gratitude to our families, for you have been a beacon of strength and a pillar of support. Today, we recognize the sacrifices you made alongside us. For what you have freely given cannot be equated to a price tag. To you, a heartfelt and earnest thank you. Today, my fellow graduates, as we are placed on the pedestal of glory, I ask that you bask in the ambience of success and revel in the glow of your accomplishment, because we have made it thus far. As we reflect on our time at UTT, we are bombarded with a myriad of memories that is enveloped by feelings of ambiguity. While we fondly reminisce on the good times, we also remember the burning tears that kept us up late at night and the unnerving feeling of anxiety that accompanied every nearing assignment date, presentation, and exam. Yet, today, Those struggles that once seemed insurmountable have been reduced to a state of nothingness. For we, the graduates of 2020, stood firm in the face of our adversities, slaughtering and slaying every giant that rose its head against us. In the words of Julius Caesar, we came, we saw, we conquered, and might I add, we survived UTT. Experiences to last a lifetime are what the UTT provided us with. Though academic achievement bore the weight of our voyage, the many social groups and extracurricular to which we engaged significantly contributed to our holistic university experience. We became advocates, networkers, and representatives through the Student Guild. Our annual sports day provided the opportunity for team building and patriotism as we showed full support for our campuses, win, lose, or draw. We learned the value of serving others through the many voluntary initiatives carried out by the university. Then, when it was time to zest up, we zest in full swing. Be it at the post-sports day jam or U-Nation frolic, we took the time to escape while capturing every moment of our lived experiences. Today, I revere us, the graduates of 2020, as the seeds that bloomed in unprecedented times. For at Orientation Day, we were scattered across the various campuses of UTT, planted with purpose in mind, of dreams to spring forth and be realized. Though we fell on different grounds, the hope of bearing fruit one day lingered and burned within us all. It was an investment, one that demanded time, finances, commitment, perseverance, and patience. Great sacrifices were made along the way. Our social life was depleted, families were neglected, and leisure was but an extra hour of sleep. As seeds, we depended on our lecturers who provided the nutrients through knowledge and guided care that helped us become rooted within our grounds. We were exposed to the elements of every season, from the beating of the rain to the scorching of the sun. We were trampled upon by the beasts of the earth. We have lost some along the way, as we witnessed the retrenchment of staff and the closure of our campuses we once called home and held in high patriotic reverence. The daunting impact of COVID-19 canceled our in-house classes and forced us to operate remotely. Yet, though pressed, pushed, trampled, being sunk deeper into the ground didn't defeat us, but instead created an avenue for our roots to grow stronger. We stood as pillars of resilience as we chanted the song of the Corinthians, no surrender, no retreat, no surrender, no retreat. Through every changing season, we adapted to our environment because a lion is a lion anywhere we go. So, as the sower waited in expectation to reap the fruits of his labor, so too have we waited 4 long years to yield this fruit of success. Today, we stand as the seeds that bloomed in unprecedented times. We have persevered, and as we spring forth in blossoming glory into another quadrant of our lives, we anticipate the greatness that awaits us across the horizon. Our vision is yet to be conquered. Thank you.
Congratulations to all of our honorees and all of our graduates. I now call upon the Chancellor to declare the ceremony closed.
I wish to sincerely congratulate the newly graduated members of our society on their achievement, and I now declare this ceremony closed.
We've come to the end of today's proceedings. So, on behalf of the Chairman of the Board of Governors of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, Professor Clement Imber, the President, Professor Prakash Prasad, and faculty and staff of the university, we wish to congratulate all of our honorees and all of our newly minted graduates. Congratulations, and we wish you well. Thank you.